Hey, Animation Fanatic here. Just got done watching last week's episode of The Legend of Korra, episode 7, uh, Beginnings, part 1. Um, well, gee, what can I say about this episode? It throws you into everything very quickly. You're supposed to buy everything. You know, they recap, oh yeah, Korra was picked up by the spirits, yeah, and Korra was attacked by the spirits, and then it says, oh, she washed up on an island, she doesn't know who she is. Okay. She's found by some firebenders who take her to this pool and lower her in. She sees her previous avatar selves, including Aang, whatever the firebender's name was who was before her, Kyoshu, a waterbender who's not named, and it takes her all the way back, and she's told she has to find Rava to get her memory back. Now, finally, she sees the original Avatar, a guy named Juan. And I just want to let you know, this episode, this is not Korra's story. Well, at least Korra as we know her. This is Juan's story. Now, Juan is a thief in a city that seems to be isolated, sort of surrounded by a spirit realm, spirit forest. He tries to help people out, and he's mad at the Chu family for having a lot of power. So anyway, to get some power himself, he decides to go on an expedition and asks what is it called? The lion turtle. Yeah, the lion turtle to give him the element of fire. Apparently the lion turtle can do that. Also, the city rests on his back, which is pretty cool. Anyway, he tries to get some food for the people, but ends up getting caught and banished, and then he runs into the spirits. He has some trouble with them initially, but befriends them, and they teach him how to firebend and use his fire correctly. Eventually, though, he gets a little bit full of himself and tries to break up two giant spirits who are fighting in the forest. It turns out, though, that he actually separating them wasn't a good thing, as one of them was the spirit of chaos and the other the spirit of peace and order. And now chaos has been unleashed onto the world. And that's the basic rundown of this whole plot. There's also, forgot to mention, the people near the end leave the village and go out into the forest, also having the gift of fire. So this is an interesting look at how we get, benders and non-benders. But yeah, this was an interesting looking episode, I'll say, because the artistic style is dramatically different from a regular Korra episode. At times it looked a little bit, I almost want to say it looked a little bit silly, but it was interesting and beautiful at the same time. The spirits were greatly improved. There was a lot of interesting looking animals and spirits in this. I was kind of reminded of Princess Mononoke, the movie, just with the spirit world and the humans coexisting. I wonder if elements were borrowed for this. I don't know. But yeah, overall, this is different than what we usually get in a Korra episode, but it was still fairly good. Is it my favorite? No, I've actually enjoyed the main series until now, unlike certain people. Yasu Otaku. But, I hope she doesn't see this. I'm actually a big fan. But it was still a good episode. I enjoyed it a lot. It was an interesting story. It had interesting artwork, and I'm honestly excited to see the next part of it. So that's basically what I think. There's not a ton to say because it was good. It was pretty to look at, and it was interesting.